Hello again. Today I'm going to be sharing another essay that is ironically timely. Last week I went to went on a retreat that required me to be completely silent, and the essay that happened to be next on the list was focused on listening. I'm still recovering from that retreat and my inability to sleep on it, and so I'm still trying to catch up on it. But this week's essay is The Diary of an Insomniac, and it was an essay that I wrote in the middle of the night on, I believe it was a few week period of not being able to sleep well, and I felt like I was losing my mind. There were points where I was nearly in tears because of how overwhelmed I was of not getting any sleep. So one night I was frustrated and was feeling a little witty. I had just finished one of Christopher Hitchens's books, so the writing style in this essay is very much so an homage to that. It's interesting to see kind of the way that I'm trying to figure out how what is my style, what is the voice that I have when I write, when I speak. It's interesting because I do see that I try and mimic the people that I want to be like. And so, part of that is, almost mimicry and trying to figure out which part is mine. But it also goes to show that, I am journeying to find my voice as well. So the snarky, witty, sharp, ironic sense of humor that's in this essay is very much so. I could tell that I had just read a Christopher Hitchens book. So still recovering from sleep, reading about an essay on not being able to sleep. So The Diary of an Insomniac. For years, my relationship with sleep has been a shaky one. Now and then we find ourselves on a blissful honeymoon that lasts some time, but most of the time it leans more on the side of a one-night stand rather than a long-term monogamous relationship. This said romance is a bitter one, I must admit, dear reader. We both appear to resent each other. Some nights I find myself not practicing proper sleep hygiene. I watch TV before bed, I think deeply about the meaning of life, or I drink a coffee. On these nights I have no one to blame but myself. But on the other nights, the terrible lady sleep will take her bitterness out on me, not allowing my mind to stop, causing my joints to ache or my body to sweat. Unfortunately, we are unable to break up. However, it would be nice if we could have a mutually beneficial relationship. I recently began to eliminate my excessive intake of soda and energy drinks. Additionally, I began to eat properly. In exchange, my body decided to reward me with the exact opposite desired effect. I sleep worse and less, and for the last month I have found myself terrorized by insomnia. My prescribed medication worked for some time, but it reached a point where my body became immune. I moved on to, quote, natural remedies, trying valerian root and magnesium. No luck there either. In a bit of a panic, I talked with my physician. She kindly switched me over to a new medication. It gave me some rest, but provided me with the additional benefit of having night sweats. The feelings one gets when deprived of sleep are unpleasant, to say the least. Moral panics arise, fearing the sins I have committed in a manner disproportionate to their actual failures. For example, I have delayed doing the laundry for some time now. In return, my conscience berates me with the shame that does not match the failure. My joints ache. When I move, my body hurts. When I lay down, there's no place I find comfort. My head hurts. Thank God for the friend of Tylenol. I continue to search for a resolution to this unhealthy relationship. Last week, I got my blood tested to see if something is amiss. Results pending. After this, I plan to see a nutritionist. I would like to know if I'm eating something I ought not. I pray it's not gluten. I would hate to forego the luxury of Italian eatery. All I can say is this. If you find yourself considering the start of an unhealthy relationship with Our Fair Lady, I recommend you sleep on it. October 10th, 2022. It's been 6 months. Wow, it's been some time. My relationship with sleep is slightly better. I've tried I tried to do a complete elimination diet starting from scratch because I've done the carnivore diet before. When I did the carnivore diet, it was the best sleep I'd ever had in my life. I would fall asleep in 5 minutes, 10 tops, which is never the case. On average, it takes me about an hour or two, which means I have to go to bed relatively early so that I can get my 8 hours of sleep, because if I get less than 8 hours of sleep, I have a hard time functioning the next day. So the relationship with sleep is a very bitter one. The night sweat medication was not helpful. Obviously, I would sleep, but then wake up sweating. Back to the carnivore diet. When I'm on that, everything's great. I feel wonderful. It's just expensive, and all I'm eating is steak, salt, water, apples, eggs. Did that for a month. It's expensive, and all you're eating is steak, salt, water, eggs, apples. Apples for the bowel movements. And so I tried going back to that about a month ago. In 3 days, I started sleeping well, but I got bored of eating steak, salt, eggs. I didn't include the apples, but I got bored. I just wasn't willing to handle it again. And so part of this is on me. I am very suspicious that it is dietary. There's something that I'm eating. I tried eliminating sugar. I cut that out for a month, and I lost 10 pounds. That was good. I was gaining a little bit too much weight, but the sleep didn't improve. I tried cutting out gluten for half a month. No impact, better or worse, when I took it off, nor when I returned. So it's likely not gluten or sugar. I've been extremely strict about not drinking caffeine after 12, 2 o'clock latest. Sometimes helps, sometimes doesn't. There's some days where I will give in and drink an energy drink, a natural one, like, Celsius. It doesn't taste bad for what it is. It's also not Red Bull. And sometimes I'll sleep fine, even though I had just had caffeine. And then some days when I break my rule of not drinking caffeine after 2, I can't sleep. So I don't know quite what it is. It could be in part timing of caffeine, and most likely I think there's something that I'm eating that is causing this. I was suspicious it was gluten. Like I said, got no luck there. It potentially could be pork, because there's been a few times where I can't sleep, and all of those nights I've eaten a pork ingredient. I haven't tested that one yet. I don't think it's the cure, the say-all. There's a term that's not coming to my mind. So, yeah, to say that it's frustrating and debilitating is an understatement. I would say, I would think that, I did, the reason I went to the all carnivore diet was because there was about 3 days where I was barely getting any sleep, and I was just like, nothing's worth this. And so then I decided, okay, I'm doing the carnivore diet. But then when you get sleep again, you stop being so desperate, and you Israelites being like, I don't only want bread in the desert. I don't only want quail in the desert. You forget, that you just came from bondage. And that's partly what I'm dealing with right now. There is a solution there for me that I could start from, but eating only steak and eggs and apples and salt is hard. So I'm trying to figure it out. As of now, I am just trying to stick to the caffeine rules, and I've greatly minimized my sugar intake, so it's more trying to live a healthy lifestyle, but it's not enough. So that's a fun journey to say that I'm going through. Not sleeping. Yay. yeah, this one was a bit of an essay written out of frustration and snarky, screw it, I'm going to write about you and make fun of you. And so, it's a fine essay, very short. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. I hope this was, at the very least, entertaining. I don't know if I could say it was insightful, but something I'm going through. So, hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for listening. See you next week.